All right. So we've had some passings, and so I thought the first one we should talk about is Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys. Um, he and his brothers, and it was a family thing as far as the music of the Beach Boys. His dad, Murray, always wanted to be in music, and Brian had the talent and would pound away on the piano, and they would get together and sing together with their cousins, the Loves, and he developed and flourished as time went on, and he always enjoyed listening to not the Brothers Four, the Four Freshmen, graduation day. And a lot of people don't recognize that this came, like all artists, they're influenced by others. And he always loved that vocal harmony. And you know what? I love that vocal harmony too. And so I ended up buying more Four Freshmen records as things went on. I remember seeing the Four Freshmen with Stan Kenton's band on a TV show and going, hey, that's pretty cool stuff they're doing there. And it's not just Manhattan Transfer that's excellent with vocals. There's other groups that can do it. And but Brian Wilson, he also had his brother Carl Wilson, which I think was the youngest. Do I have that right?
Dennis was the youngest,
You
wasn't
think
he?
Dennis was the youngest?
Yeah.
I thought Carl was the youngest.
Okay. Well, could be.
Okay.
Could be.
Okay. And Carl sang on the God Only Knows, and had a wonderful voice. And they all had wonderful voices, and could harmonize so well. A lot of times, those families always seem to nail it, right, with the vocal harmonies. There's something being in a family and having the same, whatever it is. Maybe they accent the song a word a certain way, but they all do it. And of course, this is one of their biggest ones, the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds. But it's also the time where Brian started getting more and more things going on between the drugs and the pressure, right? I mean, I think his guys was Valenti was the producer, and it's produced by Brian Wilson here, but it was the guy that wanted more product, and they were like almost on a 6 month. Give me another record. It's been 6 months. I need another one, or and he was listening to it. I mean, he was like going, "Oh, okay, I'll crank out another one." And it's a little hard to always be cranking out another record every 6 months, and find some good quality stuff. I mean, this one is Party, so this had Barbara Ann on it, and this was kind of a way to put out a record where they were just let's just record a party at our house, and we'll sing and get others to sing, and we'll make a record out of that.
I think that record is missing the insert. The insert was a
Fan photo.
you see how it's all on the cover broken down with photos there, and it came with a.
Well, it says fan photo in there, and I don't see it.
No,
but
It's really a really great add-on to that album because they're glossy photos.
You always find things wrong with me.
Well, I want you to know I did check, and Carl was older than Dennis.
Carl wasn't older than
And
Dennis.
yes, he was.
Ah,
Yeah, and he was,
all right.
yeah, and they always referred to Dennis as the youngest. So I had a feeling that I was right on
Oh,
it. But
okay.
I checked it out.
All right.
I asked for the
Thank
Beach
you.
Boys' birthdays, and I looked it up, and I said, "Why do you know about that?"
Yeah, well, once in a while, But Dennis was the one that surfed, where none of the others did,
Right.
and he's the one that came with the surfing idea.
And he acted like the youngest too. He was always the wildest, and
He was always the one that they thought was the cutest, as far as the girls. This one is Dance, Dance, Dance. There's so many Beach Boy records. Oh, it's fun on the front.
This looks like it's a Pickwick
It's a
deal, is it?
double record. No, it's on Capitol.
Oh, it is.
It's on Capitol. But you know, they had so many of these greatest hits package type things. Here's Beach Boys Stax Old Tracks. This is just the backing for all these songs. You know, Darlin', Salt Lake City, Sloop John B.
Actually,
In My Room.
it's an excellent record. I used to own it, and I had a Japanese pressing, which was a different cover. And it's boy, those backings are fantastic.
Yeah, and it's original karaoke, right? I mean, if you wanted to sing to the Beach Boys, hey, here's the record. Just put it
Yeah,
on,
that
and
is the way to do
you
it.
can sing to it. And here's the one I remember having. One of my dogs chewed a corner out of it. So this is a later copy I got, and was like, okay, I gotta have that record again, because this was one of the first ones I got for Christmas that had good vibration. I Can Hear Music in My Room, Sloop John B. Heroes and Villains, Surfer Girl, I Get Around, California Girls, Barbara Ann, you know, just the best of the best. And so that was the one I played a lot, you know, when you had the little portable, and you played it next to your bed, you know, when the hi-fi was being used by maybe my dad, and I didn't have access to it, or I wanted to just listen to it in my room, didn't want to be bothered, you know. Yeah, perfect to be listening to in my room. So Beach Boys concert is just a Beach Boys concert, right? And I remember that they always had these shirts, right, that had the stripes up and down, and they would wear that for years. It was kind of the style they had, and it was kind of their uniform. Oh, it's got a little fold out in here as well. I didn't get to go to a Beach Boys concerts until much later. I did get to see them in the Kingdome, or I think, it was the Coliseum. Take it back. I think it was in the Coliseum. But and more recently with you and a professor at the Paramount, but that was not with Brian Wilson at that point. Always a fun concert. They're always, I mean, so many great songs to play, right? I mean, this one is Shut Down Volume 2. Always, you know, songs with cars in it was, I mean, the Beach Boys, they did start out with the surf songs, but the car songs were also something they were trying to do as well. I remember him getting together with another friend of his, Brian Wilson's friend. I can't remember the guy's name now, but you know, he knew a lot about cars, and so he was giving him the 409 and the certain kind of stick shift or transmission or whatever, and mixing it into the song, and helping Brian write a tune, and he did that with others. I mean, Van Dyke Parks was another one he worked with, but you know, that went other directions, right? I mean, there was something about vegetables, and it wasn't quite the same. I mean, it's you gotta do what you can do. This one has Little Deuce Coupe, 409, about Old Betsy, Shut Down, Cherry Coupe, Spirit of America, Our Car Club, A Young Man Has Gone, Be True to Your School, and No Go Showboat.
And now they're wearing suits and ties.
Yeah, in the back of that one, they got some suits and ties on that one. But yeah, this is kind of that period where he's going, yeah, let's try to do the car ones. Let's get into that, because that's also a hip thing that's going on here besides surfing, and you know,
It was together.
yeah, it worked out. And there's Spirit of America. This one was a greatest hits compilation as well. I mean, they put out so many of these things, especially during that time period where they weren't selling a lot of records, and Brian wasn't very involved after like 67, 68. And do I have that about right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Surf's Up, Here Comes the Beach Boys. Surfing USA. And Surfing USA was one that he basically took Chuck Berry's tune
Yeah,
and,
that's right. I forgot
and
that.
didn't realize that he was stealing the guy's song. It just came to me, it makes sense that the song that you've heard over and over on the radio comes to you when you go to write a song. Um, and oh, this is kind of a cool one. This is Beach Boys' "Here Comes the Night," and this one looks like it's on blue vinyl. Yeah, so demonstration not for sale, but and that's on Caribou Records. But that's kind of fun. But there's another Beach Boys greatest. It's a "Smiley Smile," which was released in 1967, and "Smiley Smile" was supposed to be the one that was supposed to be "Smile," but they didn't do it. No, they eventually did it. I mean, he eventually did it later on, of whatever he thought was supposed to be on that. And that whole sessions, reading about those sessions, where he had fire and he's wearing his little fire hat, and having the orchestra make these different sounds, and just kind of being all over the map. A kid in a candy store kind of a thing for Brian Wilson to be able to produce and have all these great Glenn Campbell and all the Wrecking Crew, the rest of the Wrecking Crew being involved, and just trying to come up with different sounds and such. But it was too much for him. It took too much toll on him, and it cost him. It cost him a number of years in bed. Here's one of those times where it was later, and Roller Skating Child, "I'll Bet He's Nice," Airplane, "Love Is a Woman." Pretty much nothing here as far as hit. There's a song called "Good Time." But I bet even if I listen to this one, I think there's probably a song in here I'd like. This one I see every once in a while. It was when they were in Holland, and they were trying to do things, and they brought Brian over, I believe, during this time period. But a lot of it was the other guys doing stuff, and it came with a single, which I'm having a heck of a time trying to pull it out. Looks like some tape got on it. There's a little single back there, which has "Sail on Sailor." And the "Sail on Sailor" did quite well. And a lot of times you'll find this record and it'll be missing the 45. But this one has it. But good luck at me getting it out. And then here's another compilation, Beach Boys, "High Water." And while he was doing the Beach Boys, he also had side projects. Brian Wilson had "Go Little Honda," the Hondells, and he would do songs about the little motor scooter, the what do you call it? Vespas? Not Vespas, but they had Vespas. But I'm thinking about just all those little mopeds. That's the word I'm looking for. Mopeds that were out there, and made songs about that. My little Honda, and that's also fun. He also worked with his wife at the time, I believe. Do I have this right? And
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Okay. Well, there was a girls group that he did. So he produced a girls group that they didn't have any hits, and I don't have any of those records, but he also had done that. So always was always working. Beach Boys '69. This is when they were over in London. I don't remember much about that one. Sorry. Beach Boys "Summer Days." This was a little earlier one, and they're hanging out on a sailboat as best they could. And "Surfer Girl," that's a classic. And here's another best of the Beach Boys. I think it's volume 3. Yeah, and there's volume 2. So they, those record producers were always going, "Now we need more product. How about a greatest hits? How about another greatest hits? What else you got?" But luckily they did have a lot of stuff, so they were able to go and make all these different greatest hits. And so a little later one, 10 Years of Harmony. But that's basically another greatest hits, right? I mean, Add Some Music to Your Day, Roller Skating Child, Disney Girls. So a little later, but things that were close to hits. Disney Girls, that's kind of a nice tune. And this is much later, Beach Boys. But I do remember liking this. Did it Get You Back? I'm trying to remember what else might have been on here.
I read them pretty fast. I don't see anything I remember.
California Calling.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I like this record too. But they also had their strange times, right? I mean, Dennis was hanging out on the beach, and he met this guy, and he had all these girls with him, and he was like, "Oh, wow, that's kind of cool." And the guy said he did folk songs and such, and it's like, "Oh, okay." And he had to meet the rest of the band, and they all got to know this guy, and that guy turned out to be Charles Manson. So here's kind of the dark underbelly. Here's a Charles Manson record that it's kind of a creepy kind of thing, because it's Charles Manson and the family sings, and it's not something that you could have found very easily. I think it's some sort of bootleg thing, but I know he was with Metzler, and Dennis had brought him in to see Terry Metzler and have Charles Manson sing some songs for him, and I believe this is probably the record that came out of that. But Metzler passed on it and thought, no, this isn't good enough. This isn't that great of songs, and I think that's what pissed off Charles Manson. And that's why he came back, and partially why he came back and did what he did. But a lot of interesting stuff with Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys, as far as the history of having the battle with the Beatles, as far as trying to up their game after hearing one of their records, and vice versa. And reading about Brian Wilson's challenge of getting out of his depression and getting out of bed and meeting this Landy guy who helped him get out. I mean, bravo for him to got a hold of Brian and worked with him as hard as he did to bring him back to where he could perform and be a happier individual. And the downside, of course, is that the guy was also manipulating him, and also trying to get his name on everything that Brian did, as far as writing the book with him, and then reading things in the book that you knew weren't quite true. And again, getting him out of that depression is a big haul, and thank goodness that happened. You got anything else you want to talk about Brian Wilson? I feel like I've done all the talking here.
Well, I think you've done a lot of. I think you read the Beach Boys book. There was a Beach Boys book that you read. Couple of them. Mm-hmm. And I think you've seen some documentaries maybe
Possibly.
Since then. Yeah, wow. And I think you've remembered quite a bit about Brian Wilson. I saw a lot of shows of different generations of the band as either a member would die or Mike Love left, and they had a break up there, and then Brian and Al Jardine had a group for about a long time, at least 10 to 15 years, and they would tour, and so would the Beach Boys under Mike Love was the main group that to this day only takes a few weeks off a year, and it's around the world. You never know where they're going to be. And London, Germany, France, Italy, they're out and playing, but all over the United States. And they always, wherever I was located, whether it be in San Francisco in the Bay Area or up here in Seattle, you could always count that there'd be one or maybe two festivals that they would come to. And this year they're going to be at a winery, I believe. Yeah, I think it's at the San Michelle winery. But when they play the Bay Area and San Francisco this year, they're in the Saratoga area at the Saratoga winery down there. And those are great outdoor concerts. I've always seen them at Well, the one we saw in Seattle was indoors.
Uh-huh. But you made me think. I think we saw them at the San Francisco Giants game. I think they
We
came
did.
out.
We saw them at a San Francisco Giants game that was more or less sold out. So that's like 40-some thousand people. They came out from center field fence in a Woody with the whole band in
remember
there,
that part, but that's
and
great.
they had the soundtrack that you showed here in these records. They had that music playing, just the backdrop, not.
Oh, stacks of tracks.
Yeah, they had, well, yeah, they had the stacks of tracks, and they were playing that to them coming in.
Perfect.
It would be like listening to California Girls, for instance. I only would like to add that a lot of famous musicians, since Brian just recently passed away, have made videos and which maybe 5 to 10 minute tributes to him. And almost universally have said that they feel that God Only Knows, or sometimes California Girls, because even Brian Wilson said he thought his best song was California Girls, and he would like to have closed every concert with California Girls, because it was really good. And there was a famous legal suit where Mike Love apparently wrote the words and originally, and Brian wrote the music. But whether it be the tune or the words, it was a great marriage.
Yeah.
And I want to
There's a
say
couple
that
times they did that.
for me, God Only Knows. I play it in my car. That's off of the Pet Sounds, and I keep Pet Sounds in my car. It's almost, if I'm going on a long trip and we're going to be in the car for a while, I got to have Pet Sounds up there, and I want to hear that God Only Knows. It doesn't the California Girls on the same one.
It's not just so when your wife looks
when
at you
I
and
hear,
go, where are we?
When
You
I
can
hear
say,
the
God Only Knows.
Yeah, when I hear the intro to California Girls, oh God, I can't believe the way that intro is. I think with me, the California Girls is the one that I'd pick as his best song. But there's so many.
There are
I
so
love
many.
Surfer Girl and good God, millions.
Well, and some of the side things too, we talked about Murray, his dad. He started a group because they got tired of him trying to produce the band, where it's like, no, Dad, I got it. I know what I want to do, and so he was kind of getting in the way, and so he started his own group, the Sun Rays or something like that, or the Rivieras, or and I can't remember the name of the song. But he did have a hit with that group, and he also had the Many Moons of Murray Wilson, which you can find out there someplace. But and then Dennis, he had an album called Pacific Blue, which is a lovely record, and I have the CD of that and enjoy that one as well. So a lot of great music coming out of those guys in that family, and bravo to them.
I second the bravo.
Okay,
So I guess we're out of here, aren't we?
we're out here. So champ out. Catch you next time.
Dizzy out, and thanks for watching. We always appreciate it.